What is up, guys? Rick Hackus here, and boy do I have some information for you. Now, we all know that Gjallarhorn is getting a nerf in the Taken King patch 2.0. The Gjallarhorn was simply considered by Bungie to be too good in too many different scenarios, and to vary up gameplay, Bungie is dialing back the damage of the Wolfpack rounds. Now, we don't yet know the actual severity of this nerf. All we know is that a nerf is incoming. Now, with arguably the best gun in the game, especially against bosses, being nerfed, and yet from what it seems like in the Taken King, there is harder and more difficult encounters than ever, how are us Guardians supposed to arm ourselves? Well, there already seems to be an answer in a replacement to Gjallarhorn within a new exotic heavy fusion rifle called the Sleeper Simulant. Now, right off the bat, the first thing the Sleeper Simulant has going for it is, damn does this thing look cool. But essentially what this is, again, is a heavy fusion rifle. It shoots essentially one beam. It's like a railgun doing massive damage and is even capable of getting critical bonuses on enemies. Now, luckily, Game Informer actually came out with some gameplay of the Sleeper Simulant, and we can see exactly how much damage this thing does. Now let's crunch the numbers and see why the Sleeper Simulant might actually be the next boss melter. Now, I gotta give a huge shout out to Reddit user Parzival1423, and I'm gonna link his post on Reddit in the description below, but he was the one that calculated Gjallarhorn damage. Now, in the Game Informer gameplay, we can clearly see that the Sleeper Simulant gets 16,346 damage for a headshot on a red bar level 31 enemy. On another red bar level 31 enemy, it gets 8,173 damage for a body shot, which is exactly half of the headshot, so we can say definitively that this has a 2 times critical multiplier. Moving on to the part of the gameplay where the player is using the Sleeper Simulant against a yellow health ogre boss, we can see that a headshot with the Sleeper Simulant does 8,173 damage for, again, a critical against a yellow bar level 31 boss. Now, killing bosses quickly is what we're interested in, so let's compare it to Gjallarhorn damage against a yellow bar level 31 boss. The Gjallarhorn will do, in total, 9,166 damage, again to a yellow bar level 31 boss. Now, you're probably thinking, well, wait a minute, the Sleeper Simulant does less damage than the Gjallarhorn, and you would be right. But however, in the Gjallarhorn calculation, it includes 1,189 damage for a direct hit. If you skirt to the side of an enemy and get a grenades and horseshoes activation, you're going to be doing that much damage less. So that really brings it almost exactly the same to getting a headshot with the Sleeper Simulant. You've got to also remember that this is pre-nerf Gjallarhorn damage. We know for an absolute fact that the Gjallarhorn after the nerf will be doing less damage than this 9,000 damage total. So again, the Sleeper Simulant is pretty damn close, and again, we know the Gjallarhorn is getting a nerf. Already you can see the Sleeper Simulant emerging as a possible boss melter. If that wasn't enough, another factor in the Sleeper Simulant's favor is that it has 3 rounds in a magazine, whereas the Gjallarhorn has only 2. So the damage over time for the Sleeper Simulant having 3 rounds in a magazine is probably going to be substantially higher. You're simply reloading less and shooting more. However, there is a clear downside for the Sleeper Simulant, and that is its ease of use. Remember that it's doing 8,000 damage to a boss when you're getting a headshot. If you're not getting these critical damages, it'll be doing only 4,000 damage, and that is nowhere near Gjallarhorn damage. So it does require a substantial amount of skill to be getting the most out of the Sleeper Simulant. That being said, there's even more properties of the Sleeper Simulant that gives it more potential. One of the intrinsic properties of this new exotic is that it over-penetrates targets, and the rounds will bounce once. They will ricochet one time, so it can go through an enemy, bounce and hit yet another enemy. If that wasn't enough, the exotic perk for the Sleeper Simulant will make the rounds ricochet not twice, not 3 times, but 5 times. You have a pretty decent chance of shooting an enemy, it over penetrating through their head, bouncing around and hitting them yet again, and getting 2 hits with a single round substantially increases this damage output. So again, we have a powerful, accurate 3 rounds in a magazine weapon that's doing so much damage that I'm comparing it here with Gjallarhorn. So again, you should definitely watch out for the Sleeper Simulant. It may be the next boss melter. Now you're probably wondering, how the heck do I get one? How do I get my Sleeper Simulant? Well, I'm going to quote the Game Informer article themselves, and they're getting this information from Bungie. Quote, "In order to unlock the gun, players first have to collect relics of the Golden Age, which have been scattered across the various locations of Destiny. After players bring these pieces back to Banshee 44, which is the Tower Gunsmith, the ancient artifacts trigger a memory in the ancient Exo Gunsmith, and he will invite players on an odyssey to repair and reactivate one of the Taken King's most striking exotics." Now it goes on to say that, quote, "Bungie doesn't want to spoil the story content of this mission, but it did say that there will be unique tasks and objectives required for completion, which might even include puzzles that are too hard for any one player to figure out on their own." Now this could be taken as a good thing, but also kind of a bad thing. The bad thing certainly is that, the Taken King comes out, you can't just load up a Nightfall. First Nightfall you do is unlock the Sleeper Stimulant. I mean, that would happen to someone, that lucky bastard. It wouldn't happen to me, that's for sure. But again, it is slightly a downside. The positive thing is that there seems to be a set process that you have to go through to get this gun. And it kind of takes away, it sounds like it takes away some of the randomization of awarding exotics. Yes, it might take a while for people to figure out how exactly to get the Sleeper Stimulant, but once that first person puts up an overall guide on how to get it, I hope it's me, but in any event, from that point on, it'll be very easy for all players to just follow this guide that says, go here, go here, go here, get these pieces, bring it to the gunsmith, and then do this. So again, it might take a little bit longer to get once the game comes out, but once people figure out how to get it, it's going to be very straightforward from what it sounds like. Bungie could introduce some randomization into the missions. For example, you have to farm a certain enemy, that enemy has to drop one of the pieces of the Golden Age. That would be a little bit unfortunate, and I hope they don't do it. But again, that's what we know about how to get your Sleeper Simulant. So I look forward to seeing you guys in the Taken King, and I have to wish you luck on getting your Sleeper Simulants. That's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. Doing so will let you see Destiny content similar to this. My Twitch channel and Twitter are both linked in the description of this video. So check out my Twitter if you want to get in touch with me, and check out my Twitch if you want to see my ramblings live. Again, I hope you enjoy, and as always, have a good day.